Welcome to the Dispatch. You are listening to a primer on Jammu and Kashmir. What kind of a political party was the National Conference in the 1940s? In episode 35, we talk about the early years of Jammu and Kashmir's premier political organization.
By the early 1940s, the National Conference had become the most influential political organization in the Kashmir Valley and an increasingly visible force in the broader politics of Jammu and Kashmir. Its organizational structure, methods of mobilization, and ideological orientation reflected both local conditions and wider trends sweeping across the Indian subcontinent. This decade marked the phase in which the party matured, from a reconstituted movement born in 1938 to a disciplined political organization capable of sustained agitation, legislative engagement, and mass mobilization. The party's strength rested on its broad-based cadre network, organized into branches across Srinagar, district towns, and larger villages. Students, teachers, artisans, small traders, and lower-tier government employees formed its backbone. Meetings in community halls, schools, and public squares became regular features of political life. The party held study circles, distributed pamphlets, and encouraged political education in a region where formal literacy was growing but still limited. Through these methods, it succeeded in carrying its message far beyond the urban elite. At the center of this organization stood Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, whose leadership combined oratory, negotiation, and an ability to connect with ordinary people. His public addresses drew large crowds and were circulated through the Urdu press. He was supported by important lieutenants, Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, whose administrative skill and political pragmatism strengthened organizational discipline, and Mirza Afzal Beg, an articulate legislator and strategist known for his bridge building between leadership and cadre. Together, they shaped the party's internal coherence during a period of rising public expectations. The political language of the National Conference in the early 1940s was shaped strongly by developments in British India. The party drew intellectual inspiration from the Indian National Congress and identified with the broader call for responsible government and civil rights. At the same time, it rooted its demands firmly in the local context. Greater representation in state service, equitable taxation, expansion of education, judicial accessibility, and an end to arbitrary administrative practices. While its program was secular and regionally framed, its strength remained concentrated in the valley, reflecting the social composition of its support base. The Praja Sabha provided a platform for the National Conference to articulate its agenda within formal institutions. Its representatives raised questions on irrigation, municipal governance, schools, and revenue administration. While the legislative chamber's powers were limited, participation in debates deepened the party's political experience and helped transform popular grievances into structured demands. The 1940s, however, also brought growing tension between the party and the state. Wartime inflation, economic hardship, and administrative pressures increased public dissatisfaction. National Conference branches organized petitions, public meetings, and demonstrations on issues ranging from grain prices to bureaucratic conduct. As political awareness widened, party workers began to coordinate activities across regions, bringing new areas, including segments of rural Kashmir, into political engagement. The government's response remained cautious. Maharaja Hari Singh maintained authority and was wary of large-scale mobilization, but he did not entirely close the door to dialogue. The Residency monitored the situation, viewing the party's rise as part of the broader evolution of politics in princely India, even as it urged the state to maintain order. By the middle of the decade, the National Conference had consolidated itself as a disciplined political movement with a clear program, a strong cadre, and a recognizable public vocabulary. It had also become the principal vehicle through which a significant section of the population, especially in the valley, expressed its expectations of a more representative and equitable political order. This organizational maturity would play a critical role in shaping the confrontations and negotiations that defined the later 1940s, including the constitutional crises that preceded the final settlement of 1947.
Thanks for watching this episode of Primer on Jammu and Kashmir. Here is a quick note from the editors of the Dispatch. While dealing with historical events, we are conscious of the fact that history has no single view. In places like Jammu and Kashmir, this can be more complicated. While explaining the events of history through this primer, we are taking the best possible care to be objective and to offer context wherever views differ starkly. We welcome you to write to us and enrich the knowledge base on Jammu and Kashmir.